Hey guys, this is Mitchell Buds with the Misunderstood Podcast. I just want to personally thank you for tuning into the show and sharing the show with your friends, family, and your co-workers. Now, the show has really taken off. It's really gained some popularity, and that's because of you and our listeners. So I ask that you continue to share it. Visit us on misunderstoodpodcast.com. Like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The show is now officially on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Drive, and you can stream it on Spotify. So I thank everybody for helping us, supporting us, and we will continue to do the best that we can to provide good content for you in your drives and whatever you're doing that you're listening to the show.
Misunderstood Studio in Salem, Illinois. This is the Misunderstood Podcast with the Soy of Illinois, Andy Thomason, and providing middle ground between the guys, Amber Wehyrich. And now, he agrees if it feels good, do it, and if it tastes good, chew it. Mitchell Buds.
If it feels good, do it. And if it tastes good, do it. I don't know enough. There is no better way to live your life.
What did you do to make you think of that?
So, we'll get into that in a second, but how you doing, Andy?
I'm doing pretty good.
As always, the Soy of Illinois.
As always.
Big changes for the show. Super excited what's coming, and thanks for sharing the show with your friends, coworkers, and the lady at the gas station. And continue to share it as it's free, and there's no reason not to share it because we think it's halfway decent. So, and according to the subscribers and the downloads, everybody's really enjoying it, and the numbers keep increasing. So, thanks again. Now, with that, so we got the show moved to a studio in Salem.
Yep.
In an office. Got some new equipment, and we are ready to go with that. And then we are bringing on Amber Wehyrich. Yes, she was on episode 14. She's going to add some pretty good dynamic to the show.
Yeah, I believe so.
I hope so. I don't even know you guys. I mean,
yeah,
we just met on the show, and here we are.
Yeah, we never.
I just met Amber a couple days ago.
I'm surprised we know how to even say her last name. So,
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the first time.
You've heard her last name.
I heard her last name.
Are you serious?
And the entire day I didn't say it because I didn't want to say it wrong. And every time I see it, it sounds like I didn't ever watch these movies, but it sounds like some word off Harry Potter or something.
Now, didn't you have to type her name on the website?
I just copied and pasted from Facebook.
So
what were you saying to yourself though as you did it?
I don't know. I was thinking like Wehyrich or something like that because that's how it's spelled.
Close.
It's
Wehyrich.
Yeah.
Spell it.
It's German.
It's German.
Probably in Germany it was like Wehyrich. Something.
Could you do that one more time?
Wehyrich. That was really stupid.
German is such a angry language.
Even more so is like Russian.
Intense.
Yeah,
Russian. I heard. I think it was Mila Kunis one time said that when people are speaking in Russian, it's like they're speaking in Klingon. Like they could be like saying something like shouting at each other, but it's like I love you.
Spit is flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what Chinese and Korean. That just sounds like somebody walked around with pots and pans and beat it, and they're like, "That sounds good."
I think
what that was. That sound goes with that word.
I think they partly make it up like at the restaurants. Let's not kid ourselves. If you go to a Chinese restaurant and the lady in the front isn't screaming at the guy in the back, it's not a real Chinese restaurant experience. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you part Chinese?
No.
He's now. I would like to.
I want to know what soy is.
Soy sauce,
like soy sauce.
Oh,
the soy of Illinois.
So Asian.
It's Asian. Yeah.
Asian from the waist up. Now.
Yeah. Waist up Asian. Mind your own business.
Yeah. Not he. Now, I would like to know how many Chinese restaurants in Southern Illinois alone are on the top 100 Chinese restaurants in America. Because every single one I seem to go to says rated top 100 Chinese restaurant of America.
You want to know something funny? I went to the Chinese restaurant in Flora, and they actually had like a little sign that said, vote today. And so there appears to actually be a voting process for this. Now, I don't know if it's like people get a participation trophy.
Like to vote if they're the best.
Like to vote if you're in the top 100 or whatever. But you're absolutely right. I don't know how many Chinese restaurants I'll go to and it'll say, you know, top 100 Chinese restaurants or whatever. And you're like, really interesting.
It is, because I often think, like, how many other... It seems odd that there's like 5 of them and, you know, within 30 miles.
Well, you know, there's at least 100.
Yeah, that's true.
Rabbit trail, guys.
Here's what... Yeah, sorry.
Or cat trail.
Real quick, here's what drives me
Chinese
nuts
food.
about it. What drives me nuts is that there's a Chinese restaurant every town, like, and they have a number behind it, like Chinese buffet number 6. And I'm always like, does that mean there's at least like 5 others in town somewhere that I don't know about?
Well, I wonder if it's the owners own several. That's kind of like when you pull up to a restaurant and it just says restaurant. And you just should know, let's just not eat there. Because that restaurant in Dick's used to be Austin's or something.
I never heard of it.
And then they sold it and someone else bought it and they just had a sign that said restaurant.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, Amber's right. We're going down a rabbit hole. Yeah, we're going down a rabbit hole.
Pippity hop.
Amber, well, actually, I'm going to let you kind of lead in with...
I want to know why you guys want me on the show.
Well,
I mean, you all asked
That
me.
wasn't in the notes.
we had too many people thinking we had something against women. So we decided the way to solve that is to bring a woman on. We had too many women not liking the show.
Yeah.
So
Just picked any woman.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so...
And then we looked through our contact list, and you know your name starts with A, so you're just right there. And he's like, "Oh,
Even though we just met.
yeah."
Right.
Yeah.
So, no, it's good to... Because with us being guys, I think... Because you're a counselor, right?
I'm more
Sort
than
of.
that. That's just like 5% of my life. But
Okay, so
yes.
all right. I think you will bring good views, and then whenever we say, I think you'll be able to circle things back around.
Yeah. I'll keep you guys on track.
Yeah, because we're pretty. It's kind of a one-way street on our thinking, so that way other people know that maybe there is another way. Not saying that we're wrong.
I think it's nice to have like another perspective.
Yeah.
I think you and I tend to think the same way on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so
Well, as a counselor, I mean, you think outside the box because you join people where they are and you just accept their viewpoint. But I do like to look at things from a different perspective.
So, what is your line? You kind of, in a way, came up with the line. You were going to be
The meet in the middle?
a meeting in the middle. So, where do you? You've listened to some of the shows. Now, do you think most of the time you'll be able to find middle ground between what we say and?
Yeah, I see
and
middle
what's
ground as the gray. Like there's the black and the white and the gray. Dig into the stuff in between. Because you guys have opinions, you have your knowledge, your backgrounds, I've got mine, and just kind of blend it all together, but the gray is the good stuff.
I concur.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like what we say is good and right 95% of the time.
Well, everyone's right.
Except
Yes.
the Jews.
It's your right.
Yeah, the Jews. The Jews aren't right.
No.
I don't know. Did you establish rules with us? Are we allowed to make Jew jokes? Or
I don't like that. Because Jesus was a Jew.
was he though?
He was.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't want lightning to come down and strike you.
I didn't think he was a Jew.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Oh my gosh.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, because kind of.
Oh my gosh,
I kind of
Mitchell.
don't like that. I wish I wouldn't have known.
I like that song that you were playing.
Yeah.
Are you going to play it later?
Yeah, I'll play it later. Yeah. The Jesus was a Jew. I guess I did know that, but that was a different Jew back then.
But you know, so Jesus being a Jew and this being misunderstood, he was one of the most misunderstood persons ever.
Yeah.
Because he hung out with the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that we label as worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sinners and
So much so that
prostitutes
he was murdered for it.
Yeah, well, they didn't like him because he loved.
Yeah.
So he was misunderstood. So I love this misunderstood.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to honestly don't really know where it came from.
I think it just
Where
came
did it
from.
come from?
I think it just came from like at the time. You know, you and I had these conversations where we kept thinking like, quite honestly, I think it's like our wives just don't get us.
Well,
But I think it was other people too.
Yeah.
And I think it just had something to do with like the things that we were going through at that point in time in life.
Feeling you were misunderstood.
I feel like that a lot of times. Sometimes like whenever I explain certain things to people, I feel like I sound like I don't even know who to describe it as, because like I feel like I'm not getting what I'm trying to say.
It's not being
I'm doing
heard.
it right now.
and speaking your opinion and your views on things anymore is, it's either one, wrong, you're not allowed to do that, or two, people just don't have the balls to do it. So it's a good way. This is a good way to cut loose and let's just say what we want to say. And if it offends somebody, then it just offends them. You know. We're probably not going to lose sleep over it.
Nope.
So it's just our show is specifically real talk, fun talk, trying to keep it on the comedy side, and
I think it's just about just life in general, especially in this area.
Yeah, it's not about Live, Laugh, Love, at all.
I think we should hang one of those signs in here.
No.
Live, laugh, love.
All Live, Laugh, Love signs should be burned. Like,
Just go to Hobby Lobby with like,
people that have Live, Laugh, Love are not happy people.
they're not living nor laughing nor loving.
Yeah, and they're like, that's the key.
They have to have a sign to remind them to do it.
Yeah, Live, Laugh, Love. And then the people
I
that
gotta
hang it
laugh
above
today. Ooh.
the people that hang it above their beds. Like weird.
Yeah.
Or the always kiss me goodnight. Like, go fly a freaking kite. I mean, that's like, that is so dumb. Always kiss me goodnight.
I think I don't know where all that stuff started, but I do know of one. It was Joanna Gaines says she had this one sign on this episode, and it said, "Today is a good day for a good day," and I was like,
Yesterday was a good day.
Yeah,
for
so
a
was
bad
yesterday.
day.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no crap.
Well,
Do we need a reminder? Like,
How about never kiss me goodnight?
yeah.
never kiss.
Like there.
Or
that's
don't kiss me in
missing.
the morning, because everybody, I mean, just
Don't
don't.
kiss.
'Cause
Don't
your
kiss
breath
me. Yeah, I was about to say, don't kiss me in the morning because it's your morning breath.
Yeah.
No, it's the people that have Live, Laugh, Love that I think are not happy people, and it's also
I can hear people right now. They are offended.
well, that's just too bad because it's
Don't you guys have that sign?
no no.
You just wait.
I've hated it
week.
since the beginning because I hate bandwagons. I hate when everybody decorates the same. I hate when everybody does, like, it's like that came out. I don't even know where it came from. It's like that Sweet Tea and Jesus t-shirt that girl made in Fairfield. Everybody was all about Sweet Tea and Jesus. That's stupid.
Oh my god!
And it's like, why?
Because it's not original.
Well, I think it was, maybe. I don't know. But it's like, haha, that's funny, cool. And then everybody just went nuts about the Sweet Tea and Jesus.
Yeah, and then it gets to be not original.
Yeah, I don't think he could. I think it's.
Do you think it's like an over commercialized?
Yeah.
Not even commercialized, but just like over. So do you think there's a trend that at some point can be so cool that it's not cool anymore?
Right. it's cool if it would stay just kind of low key. There's a few people that do it.
Yeah.
You know, it blows out of the water, and then you go to like Hobby Lobby, and they got 25 different varieties of Live.Laugh.Love.
Yeah.
And it just makes, it's, like I said, it's a trend. It's kind of like when everybody decorated their house with the Americana stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
And everybody was like quitting their jobs to start Americana
Stores.
Like, I can take this palette and saw it up and throw some paint on it and sell it. It's like, that's great. And it's like, I always was saying back then, that's going to work really well for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to move on to something else. And then you see all of these stores, these store owners, the people that have the Americana stuff, and they're closing their doors, and they act surprised that nobody wants the Americana. Because the Americana was easy. Mm-hmm. You find old junk, people throw it in their house, you make some money on it. Not everybody's going to want old junk in their house forever.
Well, but you could start something with this squirrel thing, though, you know?
The squirrel is, I don't know, really.
I think it's just there.
He's just there. There's no rhyme or reason. He's always followed us to every place we've done podcasts, actually.
Yeah.
So for you listeners, there is a stuffed dead squirrel.
Well, I'd hope it's dead.
I think it's dead.
If he's not dead,
With his eyeballs bulging out.
Yeah.
If he's not dead,
And-
he's the world's greatest spy.
Yeah. And he's holding a nut.
Yep.
And then he's got 2 blue balls hanging around his head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and like a piece of hickory or something he's sitting on. It's an actual real piece of wood.
Going back to the Americana stuff, though, so you know what the problem with that is? The problem is they found a trend, and that's great, but you need to stay ahead of the game. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with having a home decor store.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something wrong with just having an Americana home decor store.
Exactly.
You get what I'm
specific.
saying? Yeah, it's too specific. And it's like we was talking, earlier about bigger picture type of stuff. It's like, you need to understand you're not in the Americana home decor stuff. You're just in the home decor business. And you need to continue with that. Mm-hmm. And actually, I found even more so that if you keep up with the trends, eventually you can see a pattern, and then you get ahead of the trends, and that's what makes you a trend setter.
Yeah.
That's how that works, and that's what makes that's what makes the difference between businesses that make it and businesses that don't.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head there, because it's like you said, people jumped on it, they did it. Now goes back to
these American flag, these pallid American flags sold real well back in 2012. I don't know why they ain't now.
Right.
It's because people aren't about that now.
And that just goes back to a lot of people that are in that position. They like to play the victim card and poor me. And it's like, you know what? You had it coming. If you couldn't see that, you had it coming. Like, I don't know what makes some people's brains work the way to, like, start a business. It's like starting a business and expecting never to change. I hit the table and the blue balls lit up on the screen. What are these balls? What are these?
They're called Zingdamas. They're
Thumbchucks.
They're thumbchucks, but it's because there's this game that's called Kingdama, and it's this little peg thing that you have in your hand. It's got a ball at the end, and you flip it up and you try and get the ball on the peg. This is the same thing, except it's just 2 balls instead, and you just do like little tricks with them or whatever. I can't do it.
Is that an Asian thing?
No, it's just a skilled thing, and I'm not skilled in it. There are some things I'm skilled in. That's not one of them. So,
Well, I'm glad we broke up, because I was getting ready to really hit hard on the people that start things. And I want to go back to the victim card, though. It's like people that work. Nothing against somebody that works at a gas station. Nothing against somebody that's an operator in a factory. There's people that like it, and there's people that's content with it.
Yeah.
And good for those people. I'm happy for them.
yes.
And because when I worked at Hella, there was people that were operators for 20 years. Mm-hmm. They didn't ever want to be more than an operator. And good for them.
Yeah.
You never heard them griping about wanting to make more money or this and that. What I don't like is when somebody works in a position that doesn't make the amount of money that they wish, and all they do is sit around and complain that they don't make any money.
Yeah.
I can't pay my bills. I can't do this. I have no money. That's on them. That's not on me. That's not on you. That's not on the government. It's not their parents' fault. It's not their kids' fault. It's people that want to do something with their life. Anybody that's done anything with their life is because at some point they had the thought, I need to do something with my life. I want to make more money. And they do not play the victim card.
Or they said, I want to make a difference.
Yeah. Or difference.
Yeah.
And not just, sorry, I was focusing on the money side. But anybody that's went anywhere that's made a difference or they've made a lot of money, granted, they're on the financial side, there are the like silver spoon fed trust funds kids, and good for them. But there are tons of stories of people that came from nothing that has something. And it's not because they sat around working at a gas station.
Well, here's my thought process on that. If you took the amount of energy that you're using to complain about where you are, if you take that energy and put it towards doing your job better, then you're going to get to where you're wanting to go. And so that's, a lot of times you hear about, okay, I'll give you an example. A preacher preaching prosperity gospel. You hear a lot about that because, people are saying, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you're going to make a bunch of money. Now, I'm not saying that because people are Christians mean that they will. Here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you truly believe that in this all-powerful creator and stuff like that, you truly believe that you need to give your best and that everything that you do glorifies this being, then it makes no sense as to why you can't give everything you've got, everything within you with all of your might and all of your strength, no matter whoever it is. It doesn't matter.
Throw out brother and sister.
Yeah, if you truly believe in this thing and you truly believe to give it everything that you've got, there's no reason why you can't excel in what you're doing. I don't care if you're working at a gas station, if you're working flipping burgers. If you truly believe that you're supposed to give your best, and you will succeed.
Amen.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with it.
Wow.
It's not, like I said, it's not the fact that it's not just that they're complaining. It's just that they're complaining, and it's like whenever you're complaining about it, but you're not doing anything about it.
It comes down to being ungrateful.
Yes.
Yeah. Why don't you?
I just listened to a small snippet somebody sent me, and it was awesome about gratefulness is the difference between those who will succeed and those who don't.
Yeah. Well, because here's the thing is, if you can't handle what you got right now, then you ain't gonna be able to handle what's coming, what you can have.
Right.
No.
You know what I mean? And so it's like,
You can be as just content and happy with nothing as you can with a whole lot of whatever.
You can. And actually, it's a proven fact because I believe one of the happiest countries in the world is a very primitive country where they don't have technology. They don't allow that kind of stuff. And it's known as the happiest country in the world. And that's just because they don't have all of this stuff to worry about. Yep. And that, goes back into why people complain is because we live in a society where, everything happens like that.
Yeah.
And, it's like overnight success stories, Justin Bieber's, this and that. But the truth is there was a lot of stuff, like a lot of groundwork that went into that you didn't see.
Yep.
And so whenever that doesn't happen to you, then it's like, this isn't working out. And that's something that I've struggled with personally. Like I would be working at a job, and like a year later, it's like, I'd be like, this isn't where I want to be. I'm just going to find something better. But the problem is that you're never going to find something better unless you got to work for something better. And
that's perfect to fit under misunderstood. So success is misunderstood.
Yes, 100%.
So how you get from nothing to something or something better, there's that middle. The middle ground that is the hardest part for people. It's where the resistance comes, the hard work, the discomfort. And if people would push through the discomfort in their lives, that's the part that's in the middle. They're going to get to the other side. But there's it looks like something different for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, most people that are fitness people will tell you that pain brings progress. Mm-hmm. And so you've got to work through that discomfort.
It's like exactly what you were saying. I think that's what you're saying. Now, nothing good comes easy.
No.
Now let's, there's some, yeah. I mean, let's
something of true value.
Right.
Yeah.
And nothing comes easy. Like, whether it's a financial status or
even a relationship.
Yeah, a relationship.
Yeah.
Nothing good comes easy. It requires lots of work. And that's the way it's like everybody is poor. Not everybody. A lot of people are poor me, and they just sit around and complain. And like you said, they're not using that energy to do something. And what people need to realize is it's just like anything in this world, whether it's sports or anything. It takes time, it takes effort, and it's hard.
Here's the other problem with that thought process. So I had a buddy who planted a church out in the East Coast, and I don't think he had this poor me mindset, but the church did really well. It did so well that he couldn't. It's a long story, but long story short, he couldn't handle the success and it was almost driving him mad, I guess. And his wife ended up finding. Through this program, she ended up finding out that he was Googling ministers who had committed suicide. And so there's this thought process, behind it. And he said something that I'll never forget. What he said was he was so used to things going terribly wrong that he didn't know how to handle something going very well.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this poor me mindset. Is you get in this mindset that everything's wrong, everything's terrible, and then whenever something good happens, it feels like something's wrong, and then you go and screw something up. It's like a self-destructive habit that
fear
people have.
Fear of success.
It is, and people are like, "Oh, that'll never happen to me," but it does all the time, me included.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me one time, probably the smartest and wisest thing I have ever heard.
Don't be an idiot.
No.
Say thank you.
Live my life.
Say thank you.
Live your life on an
live, laugh, and love, buddy.
Yeah.
Today is a good day for a good day.
Screw you and your live, laugh,
Always
love.
kiss me goodnight.
No. One of these days I'm going to make a list of all those.
But never in the morning.
It was because I don't do it often, but I should. And I find this very interesting. This guy told me to look at things this way. And I never would have thought this unless he told me. And he said, if you're going through hard times, whether it's jobs or relationships or things like that, imagine yourself as a small child and you guiding the child on what to do.
Yeah.
And so I should probably use that more than I do, but that's a very interesting concept.
Being easier on yourself, but...
Yeah, because everything is a lesson learned. Mm-hmm. Everything you do, everything you need to, there's always going to be lessons learned, and
whether good or bad.
It's a good way. That analogy is a good way to more or less talk to yourself.
Sure.
And
more compassionate way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really good.
What would Jesus do?
Yeah.
Oh, WWJD.
Yeah. Well, he does not. I mean, he likes live, laugh, and love, but I guarantee you he hates the signs. The people that have those are in question on when it comes to the rapture day. Now, while we're not on this, but I would like to talk about the weather right now. And I know, Andy, we've talked before about how we've come to this age where we talk about the weather. And
if it weren't for that wind, it'd be a nice day today.
Yeah. But why is it that I don't, unless I just wasn't paying attention in the last few years, I've noticed the last 2 years that the weather predictions seem to always be wrong. Like they're getting worse. Technology's getting better, but the predictions are getting worse.
The predictions from the phone or from like the news weatherman?
The news weatherman or the websites. For instance, we're in southern Illinois. I've heard 13 inches of snow. I heard 6 inches of snow. I heard 10 inches of snow. And then yesterday I heard starting at 6 p.m., it's going to snow nonstop until 9 a.m. on Sunday.
Right.
And it will be 10 inches minimum. And I'm one of those guys that when I'm told something, I kind of expect it. I'm kind of over the rain and the wet and all that stuff right now. But I was like, you know what? 10 inches of snow, I could play around in it. It's no problem. Mm-hmm. And here we are, Saturday, with 3 inches maybe?
Oh, I think there's
4?
more like 6.
No way. We're going to have to measure
maybe
this
some
afterwards.
drafts. Yeah. Well, it's half melted now because it's been raining.
It's raining.
Yeah.
That was what I was about to say.
That's true. But it's kind of like all these businesses, because, I see on Facebook and stuff about all the businesses on Saturday they're normally open are now we're closing because they were expecting all the snow. And it kind of...
the snow is so scary.
Yeah, and people freak out, and the whole bread...
Gotta get your milk and bread.
Dude.
What do they make with it?
They put the bread in a freaking bowl and pour the milk on it. Nobody uses it. There's more bread and milk thrown away from a quote-unquote snowstorm than any other time
I think it's funny that we live in a world of like gluten-free and dairy-free, but the first thing you hear when it's snowing is get your bread and milk.
Yeah, why?
I'm just picturing everybody tonight. They're all sitting with their bread and their milk.
Yeah, thank God I
gotta
got
use
all
it. Now,
Divvying it out to their kids, and it's snowing, guys. You gotta eat your bread.
Yeah.
I've never participated in that, but if I was participating in some sort of a doomsday last ditch thing, I'd be grabbing.
It would not be bread or milk.
It'd be like Little Debbie's, maybe some cans of corned beef hash.
Here's what doesn't make sense is that neither one of them have a very long shelf life.
No.
It would make more sense is like get your canned goods.
Yeah.
That would make more sense. Make sure you get that can of corn. So,
And it's mind control.
Here's the thing.
Seriously, everybody goes and gets bread and milk because they're told to go get bread and milk.
I don't.
Oh,
I just don't have a principle.
We need to look it up sometime.
I guess I have authority issues.
There's got to be a time in history where it was important to have bread and milk. I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
That was a necessity.
Yeah.
Now, not so much. Nobody, unless you're like making a sandwich, it doesn't seem like bread is a big topic anymore. But you're right about the shelf life.
Yeah.
Because
It's like if I'm really prepping for something, I ain't getting friggin' bread or milk.
well, and here's the thing. It's usually 1-2 days tops if you could not leave your house. Unless you live down a road, you get a lot of snow and it drifts real bad, and you have a road commissioner like mine that doesn't want to do anything about it. But it was like when when Hurricane Florence hit the Carolinas. I left when the hurricane was hitting. They were saying it was a Cat 3, which is, I think, 120 mile an hour winds. Enough to do some damage that I'm going to be busy for a long time. I leave, I go there, I stay there, I spend roughly $1,500 when all it was just a tropical rainstorm. And like all those people, they evacuated South Carolina. They went to Tennessee. They stayed in Bristol. They hotel rooms. All this cost. Those people were pissed.
Because they were told it was going to be...
Yeah, South Carolina, it did nothing.
Dang.
Nothing. It rained a little bit. They made the state evacuate, or at least I think the majority of the state evacuate, or suggested to evacuate. And all these people incurred all this cost. And they were livid. And then you had the video, which I don't know if you've seen it, Amber, but I'll show it to you. It's this weather guy during Florence. And he's acting like he can barely stand. I mean, he's holding the microphone. He's just, the wind's blowing.
Oh, gosh.
And
he's like leaned forward.
He's like leaning into it. And he's like, oh man, it's so windy. And there's these like two dudes
in the background,
like 20 feet, like civilians, just like walking down the road. They're just like, oh yeah, they're just like controlling. And
I think they go to acting school.
They have to.
Yeah,
and people were so mad on social media about that.
Man, I would be.
How bad is it like this? Is it like this all the time, these guys doing this?
Could you just imagine like what that meteorologist was thinking whenever he got there and it wasn't that bad? And he was like, crap.
I really got to put my act. The only thing that would have made that better is if those guys in the background, one of them like lit a cigarette. Like he had no issues lighting a cigarette, but the guy 20 feet in front of him
can't stand up.
He can't stand up. And then I think it was the Weather Channel. The Weather Channel tweeted that he was tired and was having trouble standing because they were under major scrutiny over this. And they tweeted like, oh, he hadn't been sleeping much and he was tired. He had trouble. The grass was wet. And it was like, wait a minute, you guys just made it worse. Like, we can accept the fact the guy exaggerated, but now it's making it worse. Like, I'm tired all the time, and I feel like I weed eat my yard just fine. You don't see me, like, stumbling around the yard. So
our lives are dependent on what these
Well,
fake weathermen are.
I'm not gonna lie, it's to a point to where I don't even pay attention.
Yeah, you can't because they've turned it into a business.
Yeah.
Think about how much they were probably charging because Hurricane Florence was week-long coverage, 24 hours a day. People were glued to it. When hurricanes hit, they're glued to the Weather Channel. That's why everybody thinks they made Hurricane Florence a bigger deal than it was. Because it makes you wonder what that network made money-wise.
Yeah.
So it falls under the fake news. So
Yes.
fake weather.
Fake weather. Now, when Hurricane Michael hit in October, I worked that was a legitimate hurricane.
Yeah, I've seen the videos and the pictures, like a whole town, like the whole city leveled. It was crazy.
Mexico Beach, Port St. Joe, I worked down there, and they were just Port St. Joe has this literal port going through it. And
the problem with like fake weather or whatever, I'm using air quotes, is that people kind of develop or callous to those warnings. Like my mom, she'll always text me like, "It's raining, you better go find shelter," and I'm like, I'm not gonna find shelter. It's fine. One of these days, it's really gonna do something, and I'm gonna be crap out of luck because I didn't go seek shelter. And that's the problem with the fake news crap, is because people get calloused over the warnings, and then it's like, oh, they always say it's gonna be really bad. They always say go get your bread and milk or whatever, and then next thing you know, you're snowed in or whatever.
well, it's because we know a lot of people, me and you, Andy, that are when it starts raining or spitting a little snow, they just freak out. Freak out.
Yeah.
And it's like, did something happen to them
As a
when
child?
they was a child
Traumatized
that they're so
by
scared?
Weather trauma.
Yeah. It was like
It worked the opposite for Helen Hunt from Twister. She became a storm chaser.
yeah.
She was an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, those people that are scared of storms, I'm going to say most of them, it was their parents that made them scared of storms.
Yeah.
And the chances of them actually experiencing a tornado or something like that are slim to none.
Yeah, if you're told this is bad and scary all your life, then you believe it.
Yeah.
But if it's like, oh, this is fun, we're going to go out and look at the tornado.
Yeah,
Let's go find it.
I wouldn't say kill, but I would do a lot of things to see a real tornado. I've seen funnel clouds. I would love to, and people's always like, if you're driving, there's a tornado, like they wouldn't know what to do. It's like, to me, it's common knowledge. Which way is the wind blowing?
Yeah.
Okay, the wind's going this way. That means it has to be going that way.
Same way.
I'm not going to go towards it. I'm going to go a different way.
Did I ever tell you about the time a buddy of mine and I was driving to Mount Vernon to go watch a movie, and it was storming really bad, the worst storm I ever drove through. And it was so bad, we seen an armored vehicle pass us, and it was going the opposite direction, but it's coming past us, and it literally said storm chasers across it or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, and we was in my little minivan. And my buddy was like, "We're in the bear cave," and was like screaming Twister quotes the whole time. And I'm like, "Shut up! Let's get out of this thing."
I looked into storm chasing once, because I love adrenaline. I like it, and
Well, technically,
I see
that's what
doing
your
it.
job is.
yeah, but I go to the aftermath.
You go to the
which is
aftermath.
Kind of disappointing. I mean, it's not disappointing, but it's sad.
So did you guys get out in the snow today?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. This
it's-
morning when I went to work.
When I was a kid, I enjoyed it much more. And now it's just like, okay, snowman, throw some snowballs, and then it's kind of cold.
The problem with it is, like, in order to properly enjoy snow, well, not necessarily, but in a lot of ways, to really enjoy snow, it's a lot easier if you have hills. Like,
Sure.
you go sledding down a hill, you
Yeah.
can snowboard, you can ski, whatever. You can. Illinois is really a really flat state, at least in this area, and so
You got to know the spots.
you've got to know the spot. And whenever I was a kid, I lived out in the country, and we had, there was a lot of places that we could go sledding down or whatever. We knew the spots. I guess just as I got older, I just quit looking for the sledding spots.
Yeah. We had hills where I was.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Peoria area, but where
Right.
I lived, we had a big hill, which now is not that big, but when you're a kid, I mean, it was like a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I go back now and I'm like, that was not a hill.
Well, whenever you're a kid, like, if you lived in a 2-story house, everyone did the thing where they slid down the stairs in a sled or a mattress, or in our case a Tupperware container or something, or a tote,
car hood.
Yeah,
we always did the 4-wheelers pulling car hoods.
Yeah.
So you can do that. Put the boys on the back.
I was going to take the side-by-side out today.
You don't want to get it all.
I didn't want to get it dirty. I just washed it. So
okay, that was a funny statement. I didn't want to get my side-by-side all dirty.
Yeah.
And I'm out there in my 4-wheeler today, just doing wheelies.
He was doing work.
I don't know what you call them.
I should have
circle things.
Donuts.
Yeah.
I should have.
The circle things.
It was more like a figure 8 because I didn't. You get that speed going, you kind of lean and
until you catch like a dry spot.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
You get a good slide going.
Yeah. I love donuts. My grandma, my mom's mom, whenever I was growing up, she would take all of us she had a Mercury Cougar 2-door. I'm going to say mid-90s model, purple, V8.
That's so funny.
And when it would snow, she would be like, hey, let's go do donuts. So she was my grandma.
Oh, that's fun.
And she would take us out to parking lots and stuff. I mean, just let this thing eat. I'm talking a little kid.
Cool grandma.
Yeah.
Whenever I was, I think, 15 or 16, the last time it snowed pretty bad, my dad, the maintenance guy at Orchardville Church at the time, well, I don't know if he was or not. Maybe that's irrelevant. So the point is that his job at the time was to pack down all the snow that covered the parking lot, and so he let my brother and I drive the church van around the parking lot to pack down the snow. And so, man, we had a lot of fun with that. That was a blast.
That would take a long time to do.
It did. That's why it was so fun, because we literally spent the whole day doing that.
Did nobody ever think to get a car hood and drag it behind it, or
no? Because I think at the time, I may have been a little bit older, because I don't remember my brother actually being there for that. I think it may have been me and my stepbrother. And at that time, we would have had 2 different cars, so we was all just out there, just being totally reckless.
Yeah.
And I think even the Pastor Mark got involved with it as well. And I think he had his truck and he was like doing donuts in the parking lot.
Which, if there's enough snow and it packs pretty well, gravel is okay.
Yeah, gravel's fine.
Until you start tearing up the gravel.
Yeah.
The best place to do donuts in Orchardville is the church with the green Jesus.
Out on 161?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what church it is.
Jade Jesus.
Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, Jehovah's Witness, I think.
Community of Christ.
Or Community of Christ.
Yeah.
They changed it because, I don't know what their deal was.
They quit going door to door.
Yeah, and they decided they changed their policy on whatever.
I've seen him still. I see him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we talk about that? What did they say? 200-something thousand go to heaven?
144,000.
There's an actual scripture that John Cena, the actual
John Cena?
No, not John. John Cena.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, Mitchell.
This must be an inside joke.
No, you don't know what we're talking about?
No.
John Cena?
No.
Seriously. So there's this internet fad going on. I mean, it's been going on for a while. It's kind of old at this point, but people would put on WWE when they'd say John Cena. So you know who John Cena is. Are you freaking kidding me? You don't know who John Cena is?
Tell me.
Oh my! I feel like you should know.
We're not talking about this or this. We're talking about John Cena.
Nope.
John Cena is like one of the most successful superstar wrestlers. Period.
Well, of course I don't know then.
Do you know who Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is?
She knows.
I'm going to incriminate myself.
Oh my goodness.
No. Have you watched any of the Fast and Furious movies?
I feel like I did one, maybe.
The first one
was good. I don't watch a lot of
good.
movies or TV or internet.
Get the heck out of here.
I'm out in the woods, outside having fun.
John Cena is...
I would say like one of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is most definitely one of the most, or is probably the most iconic WWE or WWF superstar, and then John Cena is probably like right underneath him, if not. And at this point, he's actually getting pretty close because now he's getting into film acting as well.
You guys are going to help me out. I'm going to learn some stuff.
Yes.
You gotta look up. Everybody knows John Cena.
I'm not into wrestling at all,
and
but these guys are professional wrestlers that have transitioned into the movie world.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're both big
okay.
dudes. So they play roles,
How
badass
do you not
roles.
know The Rock? The people's champion.
The Rock. That sounds familiar.
Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my gosh.
That's old school.
Are you going to let me
there.
stay on the
That
show?
We will.
Okay.
Just because I don't like wrestling. We could get into that sometime, but how fake that crap is.
Dude, I know people that think it's real. I'm related to people that think it's
It's like
real.
people think Santa Claus was real.
I can take a metal fold-up
What?
chair.
Do you
I can take a metal fold-up chair and beat it against a telephone pole until I'm just can't move my arms anymore. Those guys somehow take the same fold-up chair and smack somebody in the back with it, and it turns into like a smashed soda can. And what I also love is when they pick up the diamond-plated stairs going
Yes.
in. They got it looks like diamond-plated stairs
Yeah.
going into a ring, and they just pick it up and throw it at a guy, and it just totally folds over. And it's like, real diamond plate steel does not bend that way. Also, probably you're not going to pick it up. Also, it's probably going to kill somebody.
Well, the thing that I'm one of those people that I try to find appreciation out of anything, even
good.
I try to. And so one thing that I can appreciate about pro wrestling is that, yes, obviously it is fake, but at the same time, these guys are professional stuntmen, and the stunts that they pull are fantastic. Some of them
good way to look
are really athletic. There was this one guy when my little brother was real big into it. His name was Rey Mysterio or something like that. He was like a luchador or whatever. But he, do you know what a luchador is?
No, I don't.
A luchador is like a Mexican wrestler. They're very
I
acrobatic
didn't
and
know
stuff
that.
like that. You know Nacho Libre?
Yeah, not totally.
As luchador.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
so anyways,
I have a sister who
She's a
thinks he's
luchador?
hilarious. She thinks Nacho Libre is hilarious.
get that going out of my face.
I don't get it.
Okay.
I think
Anyway.
it's dumb.
Anyways, one thing I can appreciate about pro wrestling is that they are professional stuntmen and they do really good stunts. And actually, people don't really think about it, but to put on that show, they really are risking their health and or lives at some point. So much so that I can't remember. Gosh dang it! People are gonna really get mad at me, but I can't remember the guy's name. But he actually died on the air.
Oh, was his last name Hart?
Yeah, Hart guy.
Bret Hart?
No, his brother.
Let's see.
I can't remember. I knew it was one of the Hart brothers, but anyways, he had this stunt where he was coming. I believe he was coming down on a pulley system or something, or with the zipline system or something.
Right.
And he fell too early. He took a 30-foot fall or something like that, and nobody knew it was an accident. And then after that, they instantly went to commercial, and then afterwards, at the end of the show, they was like, that was not intentional. That was an accident. He's in the hospital. We'll keep you updated. And he ended up dying.
I think it was Owen.
Owen Hart? I don't know if that sounds.
So he
Google
died
it,
doing
yeah.
what he loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean,
he loved it.
what better way to go? Die doing what you love.
Well,
When I die, I'm gonna have mud on my boots. There's a song.
well, I'm hoping to.
I won't sing it.
Okay.
I've always said, let me just make it to 30. So I'm almost to 30. I figure everything after 30 is, a bonus.
Yep.
Now, do you want to talk real quick? We were talking before the show about people who don't say thank you. And how that's kind of a pet peeve. My mom raised me to, when somebody cooked me a meal, I said thank you, whether it was good or not.
Yes.
You said thank you. And I feel like the majority of the time I say thank you when it's appropriate.
It ties into the gratefulness.
Yes.
Being grateful for whatever somebody does for you, whether you like it or not. If you know that they did the effort to do something for you, say thank you, recognize it.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's the fun one. When do you think it's acceptable to not say thank you?
Besides when somebody obviously does something wrong, when you're not
somebody-
being a smart aleck. You mean legitimately
I'm being legitimate.
Well, you never say thank you, but, because anytime you add but on the end, it just eliminates what you just said before that.
How do you feel about when people say thank you so much?
I feel like
It's too much for me. Don't do that.
Like so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Why can't you just say thank you? Why you got to throw out the so much?
Just ask them, what's so much mean?
Well,
Am I supposed to say you're welcome so much?
Yeah.
You are so welcome.
And it's
So
something I
much.
started to notice like a year or two ago. Thank you so much. It's like everywhere you go, thank you so much. And it's like, I don't know if people just kind of started saying it or if I just started noticing it.
It's kind of the live, laugh, and love. It's just generic.
Yeah,
like,
it's
come
like-
up with something creative, like thank you for, and fill in the blank.
Or just thanks.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Not
But
thank
you're
you
a
so
simple
much.
guy. You just don't like
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah, and it's.
I think it's just common sense, but you should tell someone thank you. That's just.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like she was saying, the gratitude is
It's like, what do you tell someone when you first see them?
hello,
Exactly. What do you tell someone whenever you're not going to see them?
bye.
Exactly.
Right.
And so when somebody does something for you, you just say thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt you.
No.
And it says a lot about the person that doesn't say thank you.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I mean,
It does.
we can analyze that, but
We can.
What do you think
Analyze
it
it.
says about somebody that doesn't?
well, they're ungrateful. I mean, they can't see past themselves to say thank you to somebody else. I mean, when I do something for somebody that's maybe a sacrifice or beyond what maybe I would normally do, and it doesn't, not that it doesn't get recognized, if it doesn't get thanked,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, wow.
I think there's a difference between like special recognition and common courtesy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, we was talking the other day about my wife cooking a meal or something, and you asked if I, made a big deal about it because normally I'm the one that does the cooking, and I have a better answer as to what. So
Yay for guys that cook.
I've always
I like to
Bring them on.
I have been taught that it's more for some people. It's more impactful for you or for them if you recognize them in front of an audience. You know what I mean? And it may come off. For some people, it may come off as like I don't know, but I feel like if I
Like a pride thing.
yeah, I feel like if I tell my wife I love you, in private, that's one thing. But if I just send her flowers one day and she, say she's out with her gal pals or whatever girlfriends, what you want to call it, and then she gets like flowers sent to her, and they're like, oh, that, and it like that means
A bigger impact.
exactly.
Okay.
Like it seems like it means more to certain people. So I told her, it was really good. I liked it. And then also at the same time, I posted a picture and I was like, look at this
There you
meal,
go.
my wife made it and everything. So
I like when I hear, a lot of times I hear husbands say, oh, my wife makes the best. And you see that wife just light up.
yeah.
I mean, you see it. So anytime you
The only problem with that though, have you ever seen Everybody Loves Raymond?
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't watched it.
Get the heck out of here. There's an episode where Ray's wife makes I can't remember what it is, but it's this meal, and her mother-in-law. That was the first meal that her mother-in-law ever made for her father-in-law, and her father-in-law tries this meal, and he's like, "Oh man, this is the best I've ever had." And so obviously the other mom was like livid because it's like, that's my meal, that's the thing that I make the best, and so that's why I don't be like, oh no, I think my wife, whenever she cooks stuff, I think it's really good, but
You never say the best because
Yeah.
I mean, there's always
is it really?
bested later? Yeah,
you could have done better.
This kind of goes back to Amber, our episode 14, when I talked about how much I hated Valentine's Day, and
I heard that.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
about how that's a
Yeah, exactly. Like, I agree with you. I feel like it would mean more to someone to just do something for them outside of Valentine's Day.
as a surprise.
Yes.
Spontaneous.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, we're like I said, we're really excited to have Amber joining us.
Yep.
I am excited.
And
we'll learn how to kind of blend together too. And
You're
We can
blending,
analyze that.
You're yeah.
it's gonna be my tag phrase.
So, thank you everybody for listening to the show, and make sure you share it with your friends.
Enjoy the bread.
And
Yeah, everybody enjoy the bread.
And remember, live, laugh, and love.
Yeah. No.
And
Don't
always,
live like, yeah. If you
But-
have the sign, remove it from your house. Do me a favor. Do all of humanity a favor and remove that sign from your house. So, this is Mitchell Buds.
And Annie Thomason.
Amber Wehyrich.
And thanks for listening. And everybody, stay safe.
Close to tragedy, up close to folks who have Ever felt the pain so powerful, so heavy you collapse?